Hey tribe, Dr. Sarah here. I'm doing a video today on your circadian rhythms, what it is, and what really controls or has the biggest impact on your circadian rhythms. So you may have heard this term a lot, or the term circadian biology, circadian medicine, and it's really about the 24-hour or light dark cycle that our bodies are meant to be entrained to normally work with. So normally throughout the day, there's a part of our brain in our hypothalamus. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Big word there. Don't worry about remembering that right now. But basically, I want you to think of it. It is like the conductor of an orchestra. But the orchestra is all the cells and all the organs in your body. Okay, so the suprachiasmatic nucleus gets primarily most of its information from the light that hits your eyes, because that little nucleus in the hypothalamus sits right behind basically the track that goes from the eyes to that part in the hypothalamus. So it's picking up environmental cues from the light that our eyes are seeing all day. Now, the other thing that can affect your circadian rhythm is the timing of eating as well, which is also why I say a lot to not skip breakfast, because it is important in terms of cueing in your body as to what time of the day it is. Okay, but fall back to the suprachiasmatic nucleus. So think of it as a conductor. It's telling the body, right, it's morning, and this is what we're going to do. Because all the cells then have clocks in front of the genes that control what they do. And so your cells are listening and waiting to hear for their cue as to when they're chiming in to do what they need to do. So for example, a lot of the time people, when they wake up, around 8 a.m. is usually when you have your first bowel motion, for example. It's called the gastrocolic reflex after you've eaten breakfast. And that's kind of when your gastric system goes, right, that's to move on material from the last day. There are certain times of the day that your blood pressure is higher. There's certain times of the day that your sex steroid hormones are higher. There's times of the day that you're more coordinated. And I want you to think of it as this beautiful rhythm, this beautiful dance that happens in your body, okay, in a 24-hour cycle. And it's beautiful and it's majestic. And when it's cued into the environment, it's lovely. So I want you to think as the suprachiasmatic nucleus as a conductor. So I have my conducting wand here, okay? So in a normal situation, okay, you wake up, your eyes see the sunlight, okay? And the SCN, or the suprachiasmatic nucleus goes, okay, it's morning. All right, now it's time. We want cortisol to slowly rise up because we're going to need to be active for the day. And we're going to need energy to do all the things we need to do. Cue in production of serotonin because we need serotonin production to feel happy and to feel inspired for the day. Cue in dopamine production because we need dopamine for our motivation and to maintain focus for the day and for all the other processes that dopamine is very important for. And we need to cue in the gastric system. Yes, we need to wake up the gastric system. Let's cue in the blood pressure. Let's cue in everything else that needs to happen. Okay, so then over the course of the day, the conductor is then telling the body when each organ is meant to come in a beautiful cyclical manner. Okay, and so for example, then as the sun goes down at the end of the day, the light starts to fade, and the suprachiasmatic nucleus gets the lowering of the Kelvin temperature from the sun and starts to go, okay, we're coming to the end of the day. Blue light's starting to fade out. I shall cue in production of melatonin. Let's go, melatonin. You can come and you can recharge all the mitochondrial batteries. And melatonin can come in and fix all the mitochondria and regenerate the cells and tell the body basically that it's time to rest and sleep and repair. Okay, that's in a normal situation. Now, what do you think happens if you wake up and the first thing you look at is your phone that has a Kelvin temperature of, say, 5 to 6,000 Kelvin? Okay, so morning sunrise is around 1200 Kelvin. Okay, so when you wake up and the first thing you do is look at your screen or your laptop or something like that, let me tell you what's going to happen to your suprachiasmatic nucleus, okay? Oh my God, it's it's midday already. Jeez. Okay, all right, quick. We need cortisol right now. Hurry up, make the cortisol. We don't have time for the gastric movements. Forget that. Just keep moving. We don't have time to eat. We are in fight or flight mode, okay? Cortisol up. Serotonin. We don't have time for serotonin. We are in fight or flight mode. Who cares about feeling good? We may be being attacked by a predator, okay? Forget the gastric. Forget that. Forget sex hormones. We're not worrying about that. We need to be, this is not a drill, cells. This is not a drill. I need you to be on alert. Okay, so this is what your SCN is doing when you look at a blue screen the first thing you wake up. So you can imagine you're probably going to be feeling anxious because you're not making serotonin. You won't have a proper bowel movement every day because you've just told your body that, well, it's already midday, so you passed that. And because blue light stimulates cortisol, because the peak of your cortisol release should actually be midday, and then it starts to decline from there, right? So you've just basically told your body that, oh my God, it's time to get into fight or flight mode, okay? Now, can you imagine if you do that 120 times a day? Can you imagine the stress that your body's going to be under? It's not going to be good, okay? So you can see how that might affect someone's circadian cycle. And then if they are then watching blue screens at night, in particular after it's dark, the SCN is still getting the thing. Shit, it's midday. Just keep the cortisol going. And then after a long time of doing this over and over again, the SCN eventually goes, yep, it's midday. Yep, it's midday. Keep producing cortisol. Oh, we're out of cortisol. Okay. Cortisol levels are falling. Whatevs. Okay, it's midday. And so then you start to get flat lines in your hormones. So sometimes you'll find people in the early stages of this that have really high cortisol levels because they've got a really bad circadian cycle. And then for other people, as they fatigued over time, they start to get lowered cortisol levels too, so they can actually get things like adrenal fatigue and stuff like that. So I hope that makes a bit of sense. It's a very basic overview, okay? So for my nerds out there, just don't, I get it. There's probably some things that I've missed in there, some scientific stuff. But what I want you to get an idea of is how that SCN is responding to your light signals. Your light signals are really, really, really important, okay, for cueing your whole body to be in that beautiful symphony. So if you want to be in a beautiful symphony, make sure the first thing you see in the morning is the sunlight, okay? And that will cue your brain, cue your lovely conductor to have a wonderful day, okay? All right, that's it for me today. We'll talk again soon. Bye.